Hey guys, welcome to the video. In today's vlog, I really just want to discuss a summary of Chasing the Physique as a series in itself, what I've taken from it, what I hope you guys have taken from it, and also whether or not I think it was a success. Now, if you've been following along with this series from, right from the start, from episode number 1, you'll know that right from the get-go that I really set out to make this prep more so about, as the series is called, Chasing the Physique, and making sure that this time round, when I stepped on stage or when I got to the end of my diet, that I looked a lot better than what I did last time when I competed, which was back in 2015. The last competition I did that year was in Las Vegas, and that was the Natural Olympia. So I stepped on stage that year at the Olympia. I was 74 kilos on the day of the competition. I was really fucking lean. Like, I was shredded, but I didn't hold as much muscle mass as what I would like. I was particularly flat through the chest. As I got towards the end of prep in my first few years, I really found that as I got closer to the end of prep, that I would flatten out through the chest a lot. My delts could have been a lot better. There was a number of areas of my physique that I really wanted to bring up over the off season, which I spent 22 months in an off season in a calorie surplus, or I'd probably rather call it an improvement season, because I think in terms of importance, your off season or the time or the period that you spend in a calorie surplus is so much more important than the actual cut itself, or the time that you spend in a deficit trying to get lean, because that's where you make all your progress in the off season. When you're in a surplus and when you're making gains, that's where the progress is made. So I did what was necessary to make sure I made changes over that improvement season. I added size to my chest. I think I added size to my delts. My legs definitely got a lot bigger, which didn't really make a difference in terms of competing, because I was competing in men's physique. But in terms of my overall physique, they grew, which was awesome, because as I said, I was chasing the physique, not a placing, not a plastic trophy or a medal, or someone else's opinion on where I fit in with others up on stage. It was really a judgment on my own physique, and that's what I focused on right from the start. And I think I did an extremely good job of that throughout prep, of not getting caught up with the competition. Obviously, I did a lot of videos about the comp coming up, about the Vic titles, about nationals, but that was really just to show you guys what goes into the competition. I was never caught up on it. And I think that helped a lot in terms of staying focused with what needed to be done in terms of my training and nutrition and my mindset leading in towards the end of this comp prep and this diet. So this time round, when I stepped on stage for my final comp, which was nationals last weekend, so it's been 1 week, I stepped on stage at around about 77 kilos, so 3 kilos heavier than what I was at the Natural Olympia, and leaner. Okay, so I was leaner for my competitions this year, and I was about 3 kilos heavier. So in that respect, in terms of kind of stats and numbers, I definitely made some massive improvements. But I think for me, this time round, prep was a huge success, not so much just because of the numbers, but because, one, I didn't feel like shit for the majority of the time. Like, there was probably a couple of weeks where I really had to dig and I felt average, which I would have told you guys, but for the majority of the part, I felt great. My strength levels were awesome, my energy levels are great, my productivity, my focus, everything was amazing. So in terms of how the actual prep went and the enjoyment of prep, it was the best one I've done so far. I absolutely loved it. In terms of how productive I was with work and putting out content and growing my business, that was a major plus. I think going to LA definitely helped that as well. So my strength levels stayed relatively high. As soon as I start to drop body weight, I always do drop off in strength in most pushing movements. So things like bench press, overhead press, and squats really start to struggle, which is just because my body weight's dropping and my body fat is decreasing. And I think you can't get too caught up on that. And I actually had a bit of a moment towards the end of prep where I was getting too caught up on trying to maintain my strength numbers. That you guys probably remember when I was in LA, I had a squat session which was just shit. Like, I really wasn't feeling squats properly at all, and I had a chat to Mike O'Hearn, which was pretty awesome. I was training at Gold's, and he really helped me kind of understand and get my focus back on smashing my session for that day and kind of working with what I have at the time in terms of my energy levels, in terms of my strength levels, and how I'm actually feeling and making sure I'm making the most of that workout on that day and not stressing so much about the numbers, because doing, let's say, 3 sets of 8 at a certain weight on squats just to hit numbers is completely different than really feeling the muscles work and getting the most out of a squat session where I'm feeling my glutes, my hamstrings and my quads really firing. If I'm just moving the weight from A to B, I'm not getting the most out of the session. But strength wise, I was really happy with how I held up all the way through till the end of prep. My energy levels for training were always amazing. I always find with prep, the hard part for me is more so energy levels at work, and throughout the day I tend to get relatively lethargic, and that still happened this time around. It's going to happen when your body fat is low, regardless of how many calories you're taking in. The off season or the time in a surplus definitely helped me diet at a lot higher calories. The lowest my carbohydrates got for prep on a training day were 340 grams of carbs, which is huge. My fat was a little lower than what I would usually put it. And another thing I also trialed out this time was lower calories on rest days, which I hadn't done previously, and also higher carbohydrates around my workout time on training days, and especially on leg days, which I think definitely helped. Like, intra-workout carbs is not something that I'd done previously in the past, but I'm a big fan of it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to implement it in my training and also with my clients' training moving forward, and just try it. It's not going to work for everyone, obviously, but it's just another tool that I can add to the box, which is fantastic. In terms of social life, I maintained a really good social life all the way up until prep. There's always going to be things that you need to miss. That's just part of the sacrifice of competing. And if you're not willing to do that, then competing is probably not for you. But I was able to go to my brother's 21st and have some drinks. I was able to go to my sister's 18th and have some drinks. I was able to go out for dinner, breakfast, coffee, all that stuff. I didn't have to cut it all out, which you shouldn't have to cut out even if you are competing. As I said, there's going to be things that you need to sacrifice, like I'm not going out drinking every weekend, or even when I did have a drink, it was tracked. I didn't go crazy and stuff like that. But your social life shouldn't have to drop off right from the start, which most people get wrong. Most people pair up the word diet with suffering, and you don't have to suffer right from the start. There's going to be a time in your prep where you are really going to be struggling, and that's just how it is when you get into ridiculously low levels of body fat. But it doesn't have to be right from the start, which is something that I really want to try and help others understand. With my content, a video every single day on YouTube, at least 1 to 2 posts on Instagram every single day, an email every single day, a new blog post every couple of weeks, a podcast every single week. So I'm really stoked with how much content I've been able to get out. I've done a number of photo shoots. It's also going to, help me remind myself of the conditioning I was able to reach. Like, I am so stoked with how lean I was able to get this time round, and also the improvements I made to my physique. Like I said, my legs have grown so much. My chest is a lot thicker. My delts are a lot thicker. So I'm really, really happy about that, guys. And I think in general, this prep and this whole series has been a huge success. Now, when you look at it in terms of placings in my competitions, the VIX, I had a pretty good performance. I had a first and a second in each division. And, for nationals, we kind of know what happened there. As frustrating as it was, I'm not going to lie, I was extremely frustrated. And I think I'm only human to be frustrated with the outcome of that. Not so much the placing. Like, I guarantee you, I promise you, I swear on my life, if all things had been normal on the day of the competition and there was no outside factors that come into play and I didn't place, I couldn't care less. I knew that my physique was the best it had ever looked, but the fact that I didn't get a fair chance and a fair go was extremely frustrating. But I was happy with how I was able to really just focus on the positives, not worry about things that I can't change, and just move on. And now it's time to improve on my physique, and I'm going to continue to bring out a lot of content for you guys. I'm going to be documenting my whole reverse diet or my recovery diet, tell you all the changes. So, a quick update. I've made one change since I updated you guys last time. So my calories now. So on a training day, I'm now taking in, or we've switched up my macros all the way around, like I said in the reverse diet video. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. But now on a training day, on a normal training day, I'm taking in 266 grams of carbohydrates and 109 or 101 grams of carbohydrates, which is awesome. Fat. Okay, so sorry, I'll repeat that. 266 carbs and 101 or 109, I can't remember, fats on a legs day. Basically the same thing except an extra 40 grams of carbohydrates. So I'm taking in 306 grams of carbohydrates with 101 grams of fat. Protein's always pretty much the same. It's up around that kind of 200 grams plus mark from high biological value protein. So, you know, my calorie increase has been small. I did a photo shoot yesterday. I still think at the moment I'm just as lean, if not leaner than what I was for my competition, which is awesome. I'm going to maintain a relatively lean physique for summer, but I am still going to continue to push forward with my reverse diet, get my healthy metabolism back, which I'm really looking forward to. It does take a toll on your metabolism spending a long time in a calorie deficit. So I'm going to be working to get my physique and my body back to normal. Start making progress, start making lean muscle gains, which is what I'm all about. I need to make improvements now, and also, you know, different aspects of my life like productivity with work and energy levels and stuff are going to improve again. What else? I'm also going to be able to just do different things with my training, put in a lot of time. I don't know if I've made a specific video about this yet, but on the 8th and 9th of December, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour sled push challenge to raise money for Beyond Blue, to raise some awareness around mental health, which is a massive project I've been working on. So I can't wait for that. But guys, I just want to thank you guys so much, guys and girls, for tuning in to this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please do comment below. If you've enjoyed the series, the Chasing the Physique series, please do give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. But all in all, guys, this series has been a massive success. I didn't get the placing that I would have liked at Nationals, but this whole series wasn't about placings. As I said, it wasn't about trophies or medals or being told by someone else that I'm a winner or I'm a loser. It was about making progress on my own physique. It's always you versus you, as cliche as it sounds. It's the truth, and I'm super stoked with all the results that I've had, and I'm just excited to move forward and continue to grow this channel and keep putting out content as well. So again, thanks so much for tuning in. Look forward to chatting to you again in tomorrow's video. Of course, we are continuing this daily vlog. I hope you're having a fantastic day.